Introduction to Excel. Microsoft Excel is a spreadsheet developed by Microsoft for Windows, for Macs, Androids, and iOS. It features calculations, computation capabilities, graphing tools, pivot tables, and much more. To get started, I'd like to highlight what version I'm currently on. To find out what version you're currently using of Excel, you're going to go to the File tab, which is considered the Backstage view of Microsoft. You're going to scroll down to the account information. I'm currently on version 21, but you'll be able to look at your version by navigating to the account information. You may also use the Office 365 version. To access that version, you're going to go to Office 365, and then you're going to log in using your CSUSB credentials. Let me demonstrate that. Office 365, you're going to be prompted to sign in. Click the sign in button. And then right here, you're going to use your CSUSB credentials. You're going to use your 9-digit Coyote ID at csusb.edu. Notice how you'll be redirected to the organization, and then you'll be required to authenticate using the dual multi-factor authentication. You'll be redirected to Duo. Proceed by selecting if you trust this browser or you do not. I'm going to select yes, and then you're logged in. Notice how now I'm in the Microsoft 365 platform. And from here, you can select Excel to launch it. This is the 365 version. Personally, I prefer working off of the desktop, so I'm going to go back to that version. Now, since this is an Excel introductory course, I just want to highlight some of the basic functionalities that you can utilize in Excel. So I'm currently in the Backstage view of Excel. You can make some changes and customize your Office background, your Office theme, and you can connect to other services if you wish. Whenever there's an update, you can check your updates and your history right here. Now, when you are on the Home tab, you'll notice that there's various templates that have already been created for us to use. You can scroll down the templates. So if I wanted to use a business one, I would just click the Business tab. You can search additional online templates. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I am going to select the blank workbook. I would definitely encourage you to explore the various templates available to you. Once you open up Excel, you'll notice that you have a blank workbook. From here, you can add sheets to your workbook. So for instance, I have already added 2 sheets here, but when you click on this plus sign, you're able to add an additional sheet. So I'm going to rename this one. It's going to say, type in training, and my second sheet is going to be the data, and the third one can be dates. So notice how you can create different sheets within your workbook. Now, let's learn a little bit about the layout of Excel. First of all, you have your File tab, which, as I mentioned earlier, has your Backstage view, your account information. You also have your saving options, and if you wanted to export, share, etc. Notice how you have the option to pin any of your workbooks or any of your spreadsheets that you have worked on. You may pin them by just clicking on them and just selecting that pin to pin it. This allows you to easily access a document that you're currently working on and that you need to retrieve at a later time. Here, I've opened up an example for us to play around with. The first tab that I want to go over is the Home tab. The Home tab is where you have your fonts, your types, and your size colors. You have your alignment group, then you have your numbers, your styles, cells, editing, and also the analyze data function. Your insert tab is where you have your pivot tables, your recommendations, pictures, shoots, recommended charts, and some additional options. Then we have the page layout. This is where you'll find your margins, your orientations, how to change your margin sizes, your printing option and how you want to set up your printing. If you have any breaks, background, grid lines, if you want to remove grid lines from your spreadsheet, headings, etc. We also have the Formulas tab, which has your functions, your financial logic, lookup reference, and just additional functions. Your data, you can import your data from other databases or other sources and create queries. You can use the sort, the filter, and other options. And the review tab is where you check your spelling, your accessibility. There's this translating option now. Comments, if you are wanting to protect your workbook, your worksheet, you may do so. Now, the comments is good if you're sharing or collaborating with someone else in your group. So you can explore all of these options. And then we have the view tab, which allows you to customize how you want to view your worksheets. I want to share an important tip about the quick access toolbar and how you may customize it. The quick access toolbar allows you to customize your toolbar with those functions that you frequently use. To do this, you're going to go to this little drop-down arrow, and then you're going to select the functions that you find that you'll use frequently. So for instance, in this example, I have selected the new function, the open, save, let's do undo, and there's additional ones that you can also add. I find this quick access toolbar to be very useful in my case because it allows me to just quickly go to that function that I know that I'm going to be using frequently. So for instance, if I wanted to save this, I would just click save. If I wanted to email this, I would just click the email button and it opens up your email and you have the spreadsheet already attached to it. This is just an example of what you can do when you add to your quick access toolbar. You also have the more commands option, which allows you to add additional commands that are not frequently used. To use this, click the more commands and this dialog box opens. Once you are here, you'll notice that these are the popular commands. You may scroll down to explore the different options. I'm going to add freeze panes to mine. Click add, and then it's going to show up on the right, and then okay, and you notice how now it appears on my quick access toolbar. Now let's explore a couple more. Under the more commands option, I'm going to change it from popular to all commands. This allows you to explore even additional commands that are available. I'm going to select the review command, add. Now I've added this review command to my quick access toolbar. The reason I want to highlight this is because, like I said, I find this to be very useful to add all of these commands that I frequently use in Excel. Notice how some of the groups have an arrow. When you click on it, it gives you additional options that perhaps do not fit in this section. So this is what it's used for. You can explore those additional options. Not every group has those arrows. So you can pay attention to that and click on it to see what it's referring to. Same thing with number. Some additional customization that you can add to your spreadsheet. Now let's take a look at the data. This is my spreadsheet, which is made up of columns and rows. We also have cells. So the name of this cell, which is the one titled Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, is A2. The name of this cell that I'm highlighting is D3. This is very important for you to note because this is what you're going to use when you start working on your data. Notice how I have some data here, but I cannot properly create a data analysis based on the way that my data has been entered. Creating a chart in Excel. A chart in Excel is a visual representation of numeric data. And the nice thing about this is that it gives you a variety of visual effects. Now, currently, I just have this data. It's meaningless because it doesn't have that visual representation. I can create a chart by simply clicking Control T, decide if you want your chart to have headers, and then you'll see your chart. You can also customize this. Another way that you can create a chart is by going to the Insert tab, selecting the Table option, and you get the same result. Now, I'd like to go back for a second and rewind to show you some recommended options as well. One of the newer functions in Excel gives you some recommendations. So if I go back to the Insert tab, you'll notice the recommended charts here. And then you can select a chart that best suits you. I really like this about Excel because it allows you to add that visualization to your data. Now I'm going back to my raw data once again to show you some additional things you can do with your data set. One of them is conditional formatting. Conditional formatting allows you to add some visualization to your data. I'm going to select column E for this example, and then I'll select the conditional formatting option. From here, you can enter your condition. So for instance, if I want to select equal to G, it allows you to create that visualization to your chart. You can definitely explore these options to see what works best for you. For this Excel introductory video, I highlighted the Home tab, the Review tab, Data tab, and others. I also highlighted the Quick Access toolbar and how to create the table and add conditional formatting to your spreadsheets. If you have any questions about how to use Excel or need assistance, you can contact Training Services by phone at 909-537-7425, by email at itstrainingservices@csusb.edu. And please stay tuned for additional Excel videos.